Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jade and I am a self-confessed luxury lover. As any Hermes lover knows, there are many bags other than the Holy Trinity, the Birkin, the Kelly, Constance, or what you might see online as the BKC. So depending on which country you're in, the Birkin and the Kelly are often considered quota bags. The Constance can be a quota bag, but often isn't. It really just depends on what market you're in. Everything else is considered a non-quota bag. So the Picotin Lock is considered a non-quota bag. Often you will hear that you are only able to buy 2 quota bags per year. You can never get a quota bag online, whereas often if you look at your Hermes website, you will see non-quota bags available online. So often you will see a Picotin 18 or a Picotin 22 available via your local Hermes website, along with many of their other non-quota designs. The Picotin Lock can be considered an entry bag into Hermes. So you'll often hear about the Picotin, the Evelyn, maybe the Garden Party as potential entry bags into the Hermes bag pantheon. If you're considering buying a Picotin, I thought it would be helpful to take you through the history of this specific bag, the pros and cons, what styles there are, and eventually roughly what the pricing is so that you can work out whether or not it would actually fit within your budget. So let's start with the background and the history. It's often said that Hermes's first ever customer was actually the horse. Perhaps more so than any other bag, the Picotin Lock takes its bucket-shaped silhouette from the original horse-feeding bags, which I think is a really nice call out to Hermes's equestrian roots. Picotin is the old French term for a measure of oats, so I think that all ties up really nicely. The Picotin was actually introduced in 2002, so in terms of bag designs is relatively new, though I appreciate it is over 20 years old. It used to be a bag that you could walk into the store and ask for without need for a pre-spend or a long-standing relationship with your sales associate. But I would say I noticed in the last maybe 5 years, it definitely has become a much more popular style. I think with the very active role that social media plays in our lives now. When I first asked for a Picotin, it was something that they said they didn't have in stock, they didn't have any in store, but they would create a wish for me. So I think it does depend on which store you shop at, the market that you're shopping in, how competitive it is, and all those types of things. In terms of the design, the Picotin Lock is definitely a very simple, slouchy design. It's got such a nice casual feel to it. Even though it is considered an entry-level bag, the craftsmanship is beautifully done. You can tell by the quality of the leather, the stitching, the design itself. It is a hand carry bag, or it can go onto the crook of your arm, but really it was made to be held. I have seen some people online attach a strap, whether it's in through the metal loops here or onto these straps themselves, but then that really does change the style of the bag into something different. One of the key features of the Picotin is the fact that it is an open bag, which you can see here. I haven't got anything in mine. It's an unlined leather, which does make it relatively lighter than, say, a Birkin or a Kelly. The strap is secured and weighed down with a lock, which holds it in place and helps you keep the bag closed, because otherwise it's a pretty open top bag, which you can see here. So in terms of the leathers and materials used most traditionally in an Hermes Picotin Lock, usually it is Clemence or another type of leather called Maurice. The first Picotin that I had was actually in Clemence as well, in Cassis, and I'll put a picture up. This one is in Bohemia Faubourg. There are other materials that the Picotin comes in. So the other materials that I have seen it in are felt was also another one. And then it also comes in some exotics. I've seen it in ostrich and maybe crocodile. It's also come in a canvas, so with leather trim. So there's quite a few different options there. There are also different actual styles of the Picotin Lock. So there's the normal ones, which is all one color. Then there's also Eclat, which has a different color on the underside of the handle and on the inside at the base. There's also Tressage, which has a braided type of handle. Then there's also Casaque, which is a bicolor or sometimes tricolor version. For those who like an exotic, there's also the Touch, which basically means that it's a standard leather with an exotic handle. They are also quite beautiful if you want a little bit of a touch of an exotic leather in your handbags. The other limited edition model, as I referred to when I was talking about what materials a Picotin Lock can be made from, is the Picotin Cargo. So it's very similar to the Birkin Cargo. It is made from a canvas with leather accents and it has extra pockets on the outside. So alongside the various other styles, the Picotin Cargo is definitely one that you can also go for if you're looking for something that is made from a material other than leather. So in terms of pros for a Picotin, I love that it is a very comfortable handheld experience. It's a wider strap, but it's flat, so it's really comfortable to hold in your hand. I also think that because it is so open, you can just fit so much in here, which I think is a great pro. And it also comes with feet on the bottom. And I think any bag that you can't really put on your shoulder and you often have to put on the floor, the fact that it has feet is fantastic. I actually haven't taken the stickers off the bottom of my feet because I just want to keep it protected where I can. But I think that's a great pro as well. I also think one of the benefits of the Picotin is that it is really, if you know, you know. The only way you could really tell that it was an Hermes bag is if A, you know, or you come really close and see the lock which says Hermes, or you look inside the bag at the stamping which is on the inside. In terms of wanting a designer bag that is very low-key, that people may not know where it's from, the Picotin Lock is definitely a great option for that. I also think the strap is both a pro and a con. So it's great because it holds the bag closed, it gives it that slouchy look, but moving into cons, it does make it harder sometimes to get in and out, especially if you're kind of walking and you're trying to get in and then you have to kind of pull it all back down. As you can see, it's a little bit finicky, but I do think that that is both a pro and a con. In terms of cons, it is an unlined bag, so it can feel a little bit cavernous, especially if you've got lots of little things. So I would probably say it would be good to get an insert, and it's definitely something that's on my list. Also, because it is so slouchy, it does mean that it loses its shape. And before buying this bag, I definitely did watch my fair share of reviews to see what people thought. And a lot of the consensus is that it definitely starts to slouch at the corners as it ages and as you use it. I store it with the stuffing I got from the store when I first bought the bag, and I keep that in the bag. I take off the lock, I take off this extra cadena, I put it back in the bag with the keys, and I put that all in, and I tuck the strap straight down into the back with the stuffing in it. And so far that has really helped me in terms of avoiding too much slouching on the corner, especially while I don't have a insert. The other thing is that because it is so handheld, there's probably a chance of staining on the handles, especially if you go for a lighter color. Even if you wash your hands, just the oils on your hands in general, you know, if you've used sunscreen, moisturizers, anything like that, can probably discolor your handles a little bit. So if you are precious about that, it's maybe not the best option. Other cons, it is only handheld, it's very comfortable handhold, and it goes very comfortably into the crook of your arm. But if you're looking for something that is a little bit more crossbody, this is maybe not the right option for you, because you do also have to hold it in the crook of your elbow. So those are just things to consider as well. In terms of sizing, the most common size is 18 or 22, and there's also a 26, and I believe previously there was a 32. They also brought out a 14, I believe, but I'm unsure if that is something that is staying around. It was just kind of a special edition for a short period of time. With the Picotin 14, I also think it might be called the Picotin Micro. So if you're looking for something smaller than the 18, try to have a look for a 14 or micro, and you might be able to see what they have available. When I say 18 or 22, what that refers to is the measurement of the base. So this is 18 centimeters, the 22 will be the same, 26, etc. I'd say both of the sizes, the most popular sizes, 18 or 22, are very generous in what they can fit. As I've said in previous videos, I don't actually take that much out with me, but I can definitely fit a lot in here. Wallet, keys, Kindle if I wanted to bring that out, AirPods, sunglasses, and maybe even a bottle of water. It would be heavier, but it would all fit. And then because it is so slouchy, you can really, you can just have things sticking out the side and just carry that with you. So I wouldn't be worried about getting an 18 if you're someone who does like to carry a lot around, because it definitely fits a surprising amount. I'm based in Australia, and when I bought my first Picotin 18 in Clermont, I believe the price was around 4,750, or maybe it was 200, is somewhere in that range. It was definitely under 5,000. Last year when I bought my Picotin 18 in Berenia, this was 5,925, I think it was. Now, looking at their website, a standard Picotin lock in 18 in Clermont is $5,680. So the price did go up this year on January 2nd. I'm not actually sure what it cost last year. I think it was around 5,200. So it's gone up by, $300-400. In terms of how to get one, the first Picotin that I was offered, I had just met my sales associate at the time, the first sales associate I had at Hermes, and I had said, do you guys often get Picotins? I'd be really interested in one. She's like, oh, well, let me take down your wish and I'll let you know if we receive anything. And so I gave her some of the colors, that I like, gold hardware, that type of thing. This was very early into my Hermes journey, so I really had no idea what to request, what leathers. I didn't know anything about the I really just didn't know anything. I just knew that I thought the Picotin style was adorable and that I would love one. So she offered me a Picotin 18 in Cassis, and it just happened when I'd gone in to pick up the Kelly 35 that I had put through the Hermes spa, and you can see more about that in the All the Bags I've Sold video. And they damaged the handle, and I was like, you know what, this happens, it's not a problem, etc., etc. And I don't know if it was because I was quite relaxed about the fact that it had been damaged in transit, that she was like, by the way, I might have something for you. It's not in the original color you wanted, which was anemone, which is quite a bright, vibrant purple, but it was in Cassis, which is a little bit more muted, but equally beautiful. And she went to check and came back with the bag, and I bought it immediately on the spot. The second time I was offered, which is this bag, I literally just asked. I wasn't even shopping with the sales associate that I was shopping with most at that time. I had gone in to buy a present for a friend, and I just asked, do you guys have any Picotins? How often do you get them in store? And the sales associate that I was purchasing this present from was like, yeah, we have a whole heap. So he went and he found it, and it was in Berenia, which was a leather I have been lusting after for quite a while, and that was how I got this one. So in terms of how you might be able to get one, I would say if you have a store in your city, meet an SA that you get along with, that you click with, that you have chemistry with, and ask. Just ask. Ask nicely, don't be pushy, but just ask to see what they have in stock, because they may just have your dream Picotin available, which is what happened with me. And if they don't, then ask if you can put a wish in for a Picotin. And I have seen some online on the Hermes website. So I think always look out for what bags are loaded up. And I actually will say that I have noticed there have been so many more bags available on the website than even say this time last year. I'm not quite sure why, but it does feel like there is a lot more available now than there was before. I will caveat though, earlier in the video when I said that you're only really allowed 2 quota bags a year, I have noticed that on the Hermes website, it now says that you're only allowed 2 items from the women's bags and clutches section. So I'm now wondering if that applies to any leather good, like bag leather good, compared to previously where I had heard it was just 2 quota bags. So for me, last year, for example, I bought this bag and I bought my Birkin 25. So I wouldn't have actually been able to be offered any other bag by my understanding, or even be able to buy one online. So that does make me a little bit more hesitant to buy anything unless I absolutely love it and it is 100% on my wish list. But just something to think about if you are looking to start your Hermes journey. Say you want an Evelyn and a Picotin, then you may not be able to receive a wish for a quota bag until the following year, as an example. Though, if you've watched my journey in pre-spend and that type of thing, it did take me about 2.5 years to be offered my Birkin 25. So it is a bit of a waiting game, and just buy what you love is all I will say. Equally, you could go down the resale market. Now that the pricing has gone up, you may be able to get a relatively new Picotin from resale market at maybe near-ish the same price as it would be in store. There are some resellers that mark up a whole heap. So I have seen Picotins on the market for like 6,500 Aussie dollars. But other ones I've seen on there for, 5,800, which is now roughly on par with what you would pay in store. And they're often at an almost new standard. So I wouldn't say no to the resale market. Do your research on your sellers, because you want to make sure that you're buying something authentic. Feel comfortable asking for the receipt to get it authenticated through your own preferred provider, even if you have to pay a little bit extra, just for peace of mind. But it's definitely an option if you're looking for a very specific color and style of Picotin. And I know that I was definitely for a while there considering going through a reseller to get a Picotin. But at the time, it was about $1,000 more or $1,500 more than in store, and I just couldn't justify it. I definitely shop through resellers for quite a lot of my bags, and you can see it in my full bag collection which ones I bought from where. But for some reason with Hermes, I was like, I don't want it bad enough that I'm not patient enough to wait to hopefully get one through my local store and through my local SA. But I really love my Picotin Lock 18. I think it will stay in my collection for a long time. I don't think I will ever really get rid of her. I would recommend her. I do think that I might need to get one of those bag hooks that you sit on the edge of the table, because it isn't one that I probably want to put on the floor. And when you go out, you don't always get like extra seating with you or like a bench or anything like that. So that would be the only thing, is that I probably need to get a little hook to put it on and an insert as well. What are your thoughts on the Picotin 18? Is it on your wish list? And if so, what color, what hardware, what materials? Was there anything that I said in this video that you've experienced if you own one? I'd really love to hear from you in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for joining me today. It has been a pleasure to talk you through my Picotin 18 and give you my thoughts and feelings on it. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. Otherwise, I look forward to you joining me again soon.